Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessie Lesson.
And I'm Anna King, and welcome to this week's edition of Midday Mashup. Later, you don't want to miss an exclusive interview with student government vice presidential candidate Maddie Carzone.
Our lead story today, the University of South Carolina has elected its new student body president for the 2018-2019 school year. Taylor Wright, a junior public health pre-med student, won 53% of the student body's vote. Wright will succeed current student body president Ross Lorido. The position of vice president will be decided in a runoff election that will be held next week. The two candidates vying for the position are Maddie Carzone and Mills Hayes. Wright will be inaugurated into his new position on April 4th.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has unveiled nuclear weapons that he calls invincible. One video graphic appeared to show missiles that are said to be undetectable aiming down on the United States of Florida. The U.S. Department said it was certainly unfortunate to have watched a video animation that depicted a nuclear attack on the United States. They added that it was not the behavior of a responsible international player. Putin made these claims as he discussed the new key policies for a possible fourth presidential term. He is expected to win re-election in 16 days.
A new proposed law in South Carolina is looking to fine people who wear their pants below their waist out in public. The bill would make it unlawful for a person to appear in public with his or her pants sagging more than 3 inches below the top of the hips. Although the offense would be a non-criminal offense, perpetrators would be required to pay a fine, $25 for the first offense, $50 for the second, $75 for the third, or 6 hours of community service, or both for 3 or more offenses. The proposal would still have to be voted on and passed before becoming a state law.
In news concerning the weather, a nor'easter storm is hitting the New England this weekend. Power outages, coastal flooding, damaging wind gusts, and flight delays are all likely as the storm explodes off the New England coast. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker activated 200 National Guard members to help with the storm, the Associated Press reported.
Up next, we have Dara Khalid with the forecast, and later you don't want to miss an exclusive interview with student government vice presidential candidate Maddie Carzone.
Thanks, Jessie. I'm Dara Khalid with your weekend forecast. Let's go ahead and take a look at California. As you can see, they will have cooler temperatures in the 50s, but up in Seattle, we can see that it is going to be a lot colder, temperatures in the 30s. Let's go ahead and head back over to the East Coast. And as you can see up in New York, their temperatures will be extremely cold in the 30s. And down in South Carolina, our temperatures will be in the 50s. So a little warm, a little cold. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weekend forecast. All right, so go ahead and enjoy the warm weather while we have it now, because as we get further into the night, the temperatures will be cooling down a lot in the 30s. But tomorrow, no need to worry, we'll be warming back up again, temperatures in the 60s for Saturday and Sunday. I hope that you all have a great weekend, and that's all I have for you today. Next, we have Nathan Rochtrowski with sports.
All right, Gamecocks, our lead story in sports today is the upset against the LSU Tigers our men's basketball team was able to pull off on Wednesday night. Wesley Myers led the score for the Gamecocks at 48 points, leaving the final score at 83-74 for this final home game. Coach Frank Martin said, "Somehow we figured out a way to win our 7th conference game. We got a great opportunity going to Auburn on Saturday. We have to be excited and get ready to go." Our men's baseball team played 2 complete games to get a series win over Charleston Southern this past weekend. South Carolina hit the 7 home runs over the course of the weekend, bringing the total to 16 for the season. Our women's basketball team is heading to Nashville. The ladies Gamecocks will take on Tennessee tonight at 7 p.m. It is still unknown as to whether Asia Wilson will be able to play in the game due to her ongoing battle with vertigo. Coach Dawn Stanley said, "It's still a day-to-day thing, so we are going to take day-to-day with it, and if we are without her services, we're just going to have to continue." Well, that's all for you today with the Gamecock Sports. After the break, Vice Presidential candidate Maddie Carzone is here to talk about her campaign.
And here we have Vice Presidential candidate Maddie Carzone. Welcome to the show, Maddie. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And a little bit about me, I am a junior public relations major. I am from Annapolis, Maryland, where I am a huge Navy fan, have a huge family back at home who I love so much. When I came down here to Carolina, I wanted to get really involved with so many different organizations on campus. And so my first step was I went through Panhellenic recruitment, where I'm now a member of Kappa Delta. And I also joined the women's lacrosse team, where I now serve as president. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to be part of some really great organizations. For example, last year, I took the entire term, and I was the Vice President of Public Relations for the College Panhellenic Association, which was formerly known as Sorority Council. So I learned so much about PR and how to apply it into a real life setting, and I got to represent 13 amazing chapters on this campus. I also got to work with some other Greek organizations, such as Multicultural Greek Council, NPC, and NPHC, which meant a lot to me. In addition to that, currently right now, I'm a member of Omicron Delta Kappa, which is an honors and leadership society on campus, and so I'm involved with their various events. But yeah, in conclusion, that's me.
Wow, Maddie, that's great. Could you tell us a little bit about your vice presidential campaign and what makes you stand out in comparison to the other vice presidential candidates?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was on the Unite Carolina ticket with my great friend Tommy, and although he's no longer in the race, he's still such a great supporter of our vision to really unite Carolina as a whole. And so as a individual on campus who was not in student government prior, I really had a vision that I wanted to go and explore all different types of organizations, hear from all different types of people, and then bring that back into student government. I am so passionate about bringing the majority back in. Everyone on this campus should know who our leaders are. They should have transparency in what we're doing. They should be excited to go to our programming events. And so getting the majority back into student government is what I'm so passionate about. In addition to that, that's going to come into the tangible effect of the student board. And so this was an initiative that Tommy and I were really passionate about. As I carry it on, I continue to carry that passion with me. So the student board is going to be made up of leaders all over campus. They're going to come and meet with the executive council once a month. We're going to discuss ideas, really get to know them on a personal level. I want to be friends with student leaders on this campus. We don't want to live in isolation anymore. So we're going to have coffee. We're going to get to know their likes and their dislikes about things that are going on at this university. And then from there, we are going to directly take those viewpoints and bring it to the Board of Trustees. As Ross Lauder was doing in this past year, he was really fighting for a vote on the Board of Trustees. And I believe if that we show our state legislature that we have an entire campus behind an initiative to have a vote on that board, we can do great things in the future. Will it become completely tangible by the time the 2018-2019 cycle is over? I'm not exactly sure, but I think this board is a step in a really great direction. Secondly, I'm really passionate about safety. So as you all know, USC is an open campus. Anyone can come and enjoy our beautiful grounds, which is fantastic. We have great tourism here, but at the same time, it also lends itself to some unsafe opportunities. So we are going to create a safer campus by getting to the basics. This includes really getting in there and changing all of our call boxes. Call box maintenance is so important. I know you guys have probably gone to and from campus and you see call boxes down almost around every turn. That is a simple way we can increase safety. In addition to that, USC PD presence needs to be on campus in evening hours and on off-campus housing during the summertime. And last but not least, I'm passionate about our ride-share alternative we are giving to students. This will be an initiative that is going to be funded by student government and the university to employ students to be drivers for those who are coming to and from different places in Columbia. So no longer will you only have Uber or Lyft to rely on, and if Carolina Cab is being taken up, you can also use this rideshare alternative. So not only are we going to be employing people from the university to come and make a profit, but we're also going to give those who need a ride some extra experience, and they'll be able to be driven around by a trusted Carolinian.
Wow, Maddie, your enthusiasm and passion really shows. Now, why should students vote for you?
So all in all, I want students to know that I want to be a servant to them. This is not what the university can do for me. This is what I can do for the university and what I can do for students. No matter who you are, your background, what organization you're in, I want to sit down and I want to get to know as many students on this campus, because I think that student government and all the organizations, when they combine, we have so much untapped potential that we can get into. And that potential is going to drive amazing programming events, initiatives such as mental health awareness, sexual assault prevention. And as we unite as an entire campus, we need to make sure that we're not forgetting the small organizations or the large ones that aren't involved. So if students are passionate about this, I urge them to vote for me on Tuesday and Wednesday in this runoff, because I want to be a servant to this university and I want to give it everything that I can.
Wow. And thank you so much for coming on our show today, Maddie. It has been a pleasure having you.
Well, that's all we have for this week's edition of Midday Mashup.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SGTV News4. For Midday Mashup, I'm Jessie Lesson.
And I'm Anna King. See you next week, Carolina, forever to be.